Hi, I'm Barry Wright, host of Right to the Point on TV Cogeco. Over the past several months, it's been my pleasure to talk to a variety of guests on a variety of topics here in Sarnia, Lambton. Now it's your chance to be reintroduced to some of these stories on tvcogeco.com. Now, you talked about being, starting as a foot soldier, if you will, back in 1974. Does that, I realize a lot of things have changed between, the last 34 years, but sort of starting and recognizing how the younger fellows, what they have to go through as a starting point. Is that a help to you where you can sort of relate to?
Of course it is. So many things have changed though in policing nowadays. I mean, the technology has changed, and of course the whole economics of policing have changed. I grew up, like I said, walking the beat in the downtown areas and in the other areas around the city, so you got a flavor of what the local communities were like at the time. Worked a lot of different shift configurations. I can appreciate the fact, when officers talk about working night shifts, what that's like. I remember the old 7-day cycles that we used to work, and then we went to all different types of shifts, and I worked probably the last half of my 25 years in shift work and 12-hour schedules as a sergeant and a staff sergeant. Being a foot soldier, and I've been in uniform all my career, which may be a little different than most police officers who have moved throughout the service, but I've always enjoyed the uniform branch. I have a lot of high respect, of course, for those officers that are working in plainclothes divisions, such as your detectives and your morality. But I've enjoyed being in uniform because personally myself, people look to the uniform on the streets. I've enjoyed being on the streets. I've just enjoyed the whole policing atmosphere, and I don't think I've ever lost my passion for policing that I had back then, and it's continued through to today. So it's a little different now, mind you, but.
Well, and what got you into policing to begin with? Is it something you thought about from the time you were a youngster, or sort of what was the?
Yes, probably when I was in high school, the sort of lights came on, and what are you going to do in your future? And at the time, I thought, well, policing looked very interesting, and most people enter policing because they think that they're going to help people, and that's your prime motive for a lot of people that enter into this job. And I still enjoy doing that. I enjoy talking to people, which is a great asset in this job, but. I've always enjoyed policing, and like I said, I still enjoy it.
When you talked about when you started out, you were a police officer on the street. You got to know the business owners, that sort of thing. Have we lost a little bit of that now with obviously many more of the officers in vehicles, that sort of thing, where that personal touch maybe isn't quite as evident as it was a while back?
You try to stay in touch with the community because one of the jobs or one of the duties of officers is to stay in touch with the community. Back when I first started, things were a little quieter in the city. I mean, I only went out to Murphy Road, and your call loads were quieter. You could afford to put the beat patrols out. Beat patrols are an excellent community type of policing, good for crime reduction. But what happens, over the years, that as you become busier and you have to cover off zones, well, of course, the priorities are your zones, and the beats are the last resort. Our community-oriented policing problem-solving unit, they still do beat work. They're still out on the bikes when the weather is good. So you try to stay in contact with the public. We encourage our officers to get out and walk when they can, but sometimes that's not possible.
And that's all the time we have for this feature. If you have ideas for our program once we get back on the air again in September, we want to hear from you. I'm Barry Wright. Thanks for joining us. This has been Right to the Point on TV Cogeco.